you might be ready to shine. And that is when you decide to own who you are, when you decide to become your authentic self and live your life purpose. And that can happen at any particular time in your life. And you never know really when that's going to occur, but it could happen for you today. It is April the 2nd of 2026. But that title, You Might Be Ready to Shine, was a Wilhelm message that I received on April the 3rd of 2024. And I'm going to give you that one because it has so much information in it that'll let you understand who you are, who you're becoming, and why the world looks the way that it does and what you're supposed to do about it. Because that's the responsibility of each of us. It just shows up in different ways. Yesterday on the 1st, I said April Fools. That's what I said when I went into my breathing group in the morning. I didn't know why I was saying it. And then later that evening, I discovered why. You know, when we think something is a joke in our lives and then we discover it's something completely different. Everything occurs in consciousness. Your consciousness, our collective consciousness, and that of our world. And there's nothing happening accidentally. I started receiving Wilhelm in 1989. I could have not told you what it was going to do for me or anyone else at that time because, again, we're always in development, no matter who we are. It just depends on when we decide to shine. And I have to do that today because I said to everyone, I have to change now because what's happened is with this work, I've been given a philosophy that can change anyone's life. And if more people did it, it would change our world. And I doubted that. I doubted it for the longest time, and everyone, most people around me doubted it as well. But I published something today that will show you what that is. When I was receiving Wilhelm, it seemed like, what am I doing? Some spiritual thing or anything? It was never that. I was downloading a philosophy that shows us how our consciousness works, how we move through different changes in our lives and also in our world. We move through evolutionary changes, which we are currently doing, and none of it's accidental. It just depends on how many of us are going to awaken to who we're supposed to become. And we can look at the world now and see wars and control and power struggles and all of that, and they all exist within us. I also did a channeling session yesterday that I mentioned earlier I hadn't seen because I do that as well. I hide from myself and I just listened to it, and I'll give you that as well because it's really quite brilliant. But that's what I've done for 37 years. I put this information together, had no clue as to what I was doing. But I do know now that there's no reason for any of us to struggle or suffer or not become who we could be if we decide to move beyond our limitations. And that was the message I also published today that said you don't know enough to be skeptical. I was skeptical, and many other people might have been as well, and that's our difficulty. But when you see that message, it'll make much more sense to you. But then the other thing that happened on April 3rd, there was another session that was held on April the 19th, the year before, 2023. And when you listen to that one, it explains everything that is going on now. And that's what came through. Not everyone's going to believe this because we have limitations, but you must understand everything is consciousness. That's what came through in the session yesterday. Everything is energy and consciousness. We just shape it at different times, and we shape it from what we choose to believe, and we inherited that, meaning we brought it with us. And so we have to decide if we're going to move out of the limitations and achieve something new, and I was given that work, and I can own it now. And when you read the document that I created that explains all of this, it's mind-boggling to me when you read it, because it explains this whole scientific thing that that came through me through Wilhelm that shows how we could change everything in our world if we decided to. And there's an organization to it. When I said I downloaded the order of the universe, I did. And it's in there. It's all explained. So you can read it now and you'll decide for yourself. And now I have the work for anybody to do that. I know many people won't, which is why I will be changing. Right now, it's in a way that anyone who comes into it, you can change your life because it happens day by day. And I've laid it all out, and it's 37 years of that I've been doing it. But actually, it's 18 years of this this philosophy that is the highest form of mindset, cognitive behavior training, understanding neuroscience, epigenetics, all of it in one work. That's why it's called your last development program, because you wouldn't need anything else. You achieve self-mastery. But now you'll understand so much more of that with this video, with the links that we'll leave so you can see all of it. But after the 3rd, after April 3rd, it's going to be a completely different rate. I was told many years ago I should have been charging at least $5,000, and that's what I'll have to go to so people will know how valuable it is. Because we don't have to do anything that we're doing now. We could have really great lives in a great world if more of us decided to shine. And you might do that today. Thank you for being here. Please share this with others because I want as many people as possible to understand what they can achieve and what's available. And I do know at 75 years old, having healed and gone through everything, I know what you can achieve. I'll see you soon.